Hello and welcome to the Buckets and Tea NBA show. I'm your host, Cathryn Naiker. Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode. Our music is brought to you by Tanika Charles, courtesy of Record Kicks. Her albums Soul Run and The Gumption are available on all streaming platforms. Joining me this week, you know her, you love her. It's friend to the show. It's Lauren Mitchell. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back.
Yes, to everyone listening, if you celebrate, I hope you had a great Christmas. Lauren, I hope you had a great Christmas. Did you get to watch any NBA on Christmas Day?
I didn't. I watched the Raptors game on Boxing Day, but I did not watch any basketball on Christmas Day. We were doing some fam stuff.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I find that I become such a guy, like a typical bro on Christmas Day, where like all I want to do is watch basketball and everybody else wants to do like family fun stuff. And it's just like, and then it's like, I just end up like washing the dishes and not doing anything else. Like it's such a funny tradition to be like, yeah, NBA on Christmas Day. I'm like, who are these families? These whole basketball families that decide that watching basketball on Christmas Day is a good idea. Like I find it's such a challenge every year.
Yeah, I was also at my stepmom's and she like used to get all the sports channels and then she was like, I don't watch any of this shit. So she was like, all I need is PBS. So now her like cable is very bare bones. So I like brought my laptop so I could hook my Bell 5 up to the TV. Right. But I didn't want to like do that all on Christmas Day because we were, hanging out, having some drinks, like playing some board games, listen to records, So I was like, let me not interrupt to watch like the Nets play. I don't really care about them. So,
Yeah. No, I mean, we're kind of the same way. So it's like, I'll look at the Christmas Day calendar and then I'll be like, okay, these are the games I legit care about. Mm-hmm. And then the rest I'll just have to catch the highlights. Cause it's just like, I mean, am I really going to ignore my family to watch the Jazz? Like I just can't.
No, you are not.
Like I can't get away with it.
I would be offended. Your family would be offended.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know. It's always been one of those funny things because it's like the Super Bowl. It's like, okay, yeah, everyone knows it's the Super Bowl and it's not competing with Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, in many ways, I feel like Jesus is
football would be
part
ruined.
Of the Super Bowl.
That would be the one thing that could actually cancel football, not the concussions, if they try to compete with Jesus.
If they were like, we're doing Super Bowl Sunday on Easter Sunday, people might be like, relax. Yeah. But I do feel like football fans are very weird and they overlook a lot of like shit,
They really do.
Shout out to all the football fans in my life. Y'all overlook a lot of stuff to watch your sport. I feel like I have to overlook a lot of stuff to like be an NBA fan, but at least it's not like, oh, I don't know, people getting so much brain damage they kill their whole families. But that's probably a conversation a bit different.
Yeah, that's a different day. That's an off-season episode of the podcast, Lauren.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
No, but I agree. In any case, I just, we got to shout out Kemba Walker because this guy is thriving when most of the world is really going through it. Like, it's just so funny to me that like everybody's struggling with this new variant. A lot of people couldn't see their loved ones over the holidays. And meanwhile, Kemba Walker is just like, this is my time to shine. He's been killing it. He had a triple-double on Christmas Day, the first recorded triple-double on Christmas Day,
really?
Which is wild. Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said on the broadcast. And I was like, that can't be crazy. Real. Maybe it's the first time in a long time. But
because I feel like they always get the like good teams to play on Christmas Day.
Well, I mean, this is Knicks and Hawks, so.
Okay, yeah, you know what? They get the teams that have like brand recognition to play on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Knicks and the Celtics get a large amount of Christmas games. Because I mean, even the Celtics are struggling this year, and they weren't even that good last year. They were, and they still did it.
It sucks though. Letting some good guys rot away on that Celtics team, but anyways.
Oh, he's the 7th NBA player to record a triple double on Christmas. Well,
Okay.
you know what?
The
Sometimes
first for the Knicks.
maybe the first for the Knicks. Thanks for saving me.
Well, you know what? They say all sorts of shit on the broadcast, and I'm never sure. Like the people I trust when they say stuff are like Matt Devlin. I trust his brain of statistics.
Yes.
I trust Doris.
Yes, I was gonna say I also trust Doris Burke.
There's like a handful of people that I think aren't maybe talking out their asses while this is going on.
Maybe you know what Vince Carter was doing that game. So maybe it was Vince.
He's just making shit up. He's like, I don't know, Vince. Man. I was there. I wasn't really paying attention.
Honestly,
to the other guys.
It was probably me. It was probably me. I was like playing Candy Crush while watching the game. It was probably me. No one should trust me.
Gaming. You were just gaming. You're gaming.
I was just gaming, you know, but like shout out to Kemba Walker. I mean, he really has made the most of this. He's probably secured himself back into the starting lineup, even after all of this chaos settles a bit. Lance Stevenson back in the league with the Atlanta Hawks. Shout out to Lance Stevenson. Also, like these two Omicron tattoos, man, they got to do it.
Okay, I was like, did they get that?
No, but that'd be so funny to me.
But they actually get a tattoo, like a realistic portrait of Omarion's face.
I just pictured like whatever the virus actually looks like the circle with all the little squiggies on it. That could be like a fun tattoo.
Oh my God, no.
And never. Then just the caption, don't call it a comeback.
I love it.
I have to say that well, I just wanted to say, was there anyone else since I've been saying Omicron, but I've heard there's different pronunciations of it. But since this has been, you know, taking hold of everybody and everything, has there been anybody else like making a comeback in the league that you've like noticed or been like kind of excited to see, almost like in a nostalgic way or like in an interesting way?
I think it's just kind of cool that like a bunch of these guys who maybe haven't had a chance to like shine on a bigger NBA stage are getting a shot. I kind of like to know about the guys that are like not the guys we already know about. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool to like learn about some new dudes. Who else is out there? You know what I mean? Can I remember any of their names? No, but I'm proud of them for not getting COVID.
It's true.
And for being able to play.
Yes, and for being able to play. It's true. There's a lot of people taking advantage of the moment, and that's great. Speaking of not taking advantage of the moment, the Lakers continue to struggle. We got to talk about the Lakers because it's just like at this point, I mean, I've been saying from the very beginning of this season, like this is not going to be a championship contender, but they're struggling even more than I thought they would. Obviously the whole Russell Westbrook thing hasn't worked out. There's something really funny about the Christmas game about Russell Westbrook that I stumbled upon, and that is he missed 11 shots in a row in the restricted area. And that is tied for the most times a guard has done that in a game ever. And he is tied with himself.
Stop.
That I actually read. Okay. That was not something I heard. I read that.
Oh my God. Poor Russ. I have a real soft spot for Russell Westbrook because I think he's hot. I think he has really good style. I think he's like
Westbrook is hot. People are going to disagree and write into the show, but
you know what? You go ahead and disagree. That man has an interesting, like strong looking face. He's an athlete. He's tall and ripped. And he also like, I love how he dresses. I have so much like, I hate how Kyle Kuzma dresses. Like people are always going up for Kuzma and being like, he's always on like league fits and all this shit. And I'm like, he looks bad. Like he looks bad. I just don't like Kyle Kuzma, sorry. But like,
is he still with Winnie Harlow?
Oh, I don't know, because she could do way better. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they were a couple for a while. But then when he got traded to the Wizards, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's gonna last.
Yeah, that's half the reason all those guys want to play out in LA. It's like all the models are up there and shit.
True. But anyway, I was just thinking of that because, like, obviously she's a model. You think she would hook him up a little more?
You think, yeah. But Russ, I think, has like such a cool style. He's always dressed really good. He takes a lot of fashion risks. He wears a lot of like interesting, like, I don't mean fits and like he's got a good fit on. I mean, he experiments with different fitting clothes. Like he'll do like a sort of boxy oversized, he'll do like a really fitted. Like when he wore that like little tank top with the little kerchief and the bell bottoms, I was like, go off, sis. Like you look like a fucking sexy Scooby-Doo character. But yeah, I think the Lakers are like fucking hilarious because I was really like, as a woman of a certain age, you know, I can tell the listeners I'm 35 years old. I was like, yo, look at all these 35-year-old men basically like on average. Like if the Lakers won and they were just these like old ass like Melo, like LeBron, fucking like Russ is getting up there, like all these like over 30 dudes. I was ready to cheer for the Lakers for the washed contingent. But now I'm like, you guys are not making us look good. Kyle Lowry's over there like playing 69 minutes a game and like, you know, killing it. So you guys need to get together.
Yeah, I mean, I think like as, you know, as the older millennials that we are, Russ will always be our fashion icon. Like I just think, you know, that's something that the fan base as time moves on could forget, but I think he really started it. And I think he'll always have a soft spot for me for the same reason. Also, like, and I've said it on my show before, I have a huge soft spot for that OKC team. Like I really rooted for that team hard for a lot of years. And so, you know, it's kind of sad to me how that didn't work out and how like things have progressed like since then. But I think the thing that frustrates me the most about Russ is just his lack of efficiency and his lack of want or will to improve that efficiency even marginally.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's just like he gives me the impression that he just doesn't listen to critique. Like, you know, like he just is surrounded by yes men, I guess, you know, and just he seems unaware. He seems delusional.
Yeah. And I think that, okay, so I kind of relate to this in the sense that like, I don't really like doing things that I have to like work hard to be good at. Like, I like doing the things that like I'm naturally good at. It's why I like stuck with comedy for so long. I was like, it was never that hard for me to do it. And I was like, I'm pretty good at writing jokes. And like, I'm pretty good at like just getting on stage and like not being afraid and like talking shit and like doing all that stuff. Like it kind of came naturally to me. And that's why I think I like did it for so long. But like, I fully understand just not wanting, I'm an inherently lazy person. I'm a Taurus. I don't know.
Okay, but you're not, but if you were a professional athlete,
well, I would never be a professional athlete because I'm lazy.
I mean, maybe you're like Zion, you know, like it just came to you so easily. And now you're just like, fuck, I don't know. My foot's injured and I don't really feel like working out until my foot's better. I have to say, when I first started stand-up comedy, I was like, what I told myself was, if I'm the kid on American Idol that can't sing, I'm just going to accept that. Like, I am not going to push myself into the ground as an unfunny person that keeps doing this. Like, so I agree in that I also continued with stand-up because it was easy for me.
Yeah. I mean,
but I'm also not an athlete. Like
I just looked it up, by the way, and Russell Westbrook is a Scorpio. So I feel
so that checks out.
I love Scorpios. So I feel This is part of
What
why
month? What range is that? Scorpio on the calendar?
he's born in November, so Scorpio is
Okay.
like late
Late October.
to like mid to
Okay.
late November.
Just
Yeah.
assuming not everyone listening knows like what that is off the top of their
Yeah,
head.
Drake is also a Scorpio, legendary Scorpio. So
Really? I thought he
some,
was a Libra.
no.
He's in October. That's why he calls himself October's free. Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. So it's like
that makes
like
sense. He doesn't have Libra energy. He's not modest.
Yeah,
enough.
it's a little chaos. It's a little petty. It's a bit of ego, you know. So, but like I like those kind of people.
So I mean, like, so you just like, if you were the Lakers, would you be trying to trade Westbrook right now?
Well, they can. Is he not like worth 44 mil or some fucking insane
Literally, they could trade him for John Wall again.
I mean,
like teams could just keep trading Westbrook for John Wall.
I mean, like, can we get a Ben Simmons, Russell Westbrook flip? Maybe they'd both be happier that way.
I mean, at this point,
I don't know though.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard, but it's not, I don't know. I mean, I think my theory right now is, so LeBron keeps like defending Westbrook like to the media all the time. Mm-hmm. But to me, okay, my theory, and I think there's been some proof of this. I don't think this is a pure Cathryn conspiracy theory, but my theory is that, you know, like, how can I describe it? So like, you know, like when you have a job and you're doing really well, and then, you know, they give you a promotion, but they're like, it's title only. Like there's no money. This is a title raise only. And I feel like LeBron James is the complete opposite of that, where it's like, we're giving you money. You're a GM, also no title. Like, you know what I mean? Like he has been a GM for over 10 years. And right? Like he just has been. He has been a GM for a long time. And as far as I'm concerned, even if this trade wasn't his initial idea, it certainly had a stamp of approval on it. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think he is now defending Russ to the media frequently because he doesn't want to diminish his trade value, not because he doesn't recognize that things aren't working.
I would agree with that. I think LeBron has been in the league for like a long fucking time. Like he's not stupid. He's seen how these things work. He's played the game within the league, right?
Yeah.
Like people were mad because he moved around because he wanted a chip. Like that. What? Like isn't that what you want? You know what I mean? Like isn't that the fucking point? So I mean, I think LeBron has always been very aware of how the game works, like on and off the court. And I think you're right. I think things don't happen, you know, with the Lakers or with the Cavs or whatever, like without him saying some things. They go like LeBron. Again, my conspiracy theory is that LeBron was never in the bubble. You know what I mean? Like LeBron does his own thing. I think LeBron.
Oh, you think he had a separate bubble?
LeBron did not live at Disney World in some shitty hotel, eating the shitty hotel food that they showed on Instagram. No, girl. If people think that LeBron was there, I'm so sorry.
He said
he rented a mansion next door. He said, let me rent a mansion next door. I'm going to have my personal chefs. I'm going to have my personal trainers. I'm going to do my own thing. Y'all poor people could live at Disney, but I'm not doing that shit. I don't believe that he did.
Maybe. He did say that it was the hardest championship he has won because of the quote unquote hardships he felt living at Disney World.
I don't think he did. Listeners, please write in.
No, I love this. I love this theory so much. I love the idea that he didn't live there. Because I was thinking that initially, but then I was like, well, he's complaining a lot, so it sounds like he lives there. But maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I think it's easy to say like, oh, you got to trade somebody. Oh, you got to blow it up. I definitely don't think this is working, but at the same time, I'm like, are they going to get someone better?
Yeah.
I actually kind of like John Wall for them. Not that I've seen John Wall play in so long, so I could be so wrong, but I think he would just lead their offense more and not throw up bricks as much. They just need somebody who throws
Mhm.
up less bricks. Like, I think what Russ should do to save his career, he should average a double-double every night that has nothing to do with points.
I would agree. Yeah.
Like, he could average a double-double with rebounds and assists
Easily.
every night and just don't score. Do not score more than 10 points a game.
Literally take the Ben Simmons route.
Yes. Like,
We are begging you to stop shooting.
If he was that type of player, he would be phenomenal. If you were, but he just loves to, air quotes, score.
Yeah. Like, average 5.6 points a game, but a double-double in assists and rebounds, and you're like a fucking all-star.
Yes. That is what he should be doing. I don't know why that isn't his pivot at this point in his career. Because, I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Well, I don't know. I think you see some of the older guys start to, like, you see this with Kevin Love, like, has become a really good 3-point shooter because, your knees can't handle just getting in there in the same way that you could when you were in your 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
I speak from experience on that regard. So, not in basketball, but in other things, lifting heavy stuff. But yeah, I think there's probably like pressure for him to go either way. And I think sometimes these guys see like longevity in the league, being able to like shoot from three, to like shoot from far out. So you don't have to get in the paint. You don't have to be like, constantly risking hurting yourself, like to get your shots off. But yeah, to your point, I don't know. I think he's like shown that he can get double doubles solely through assists and solely through rebounding. So I'm not sure why they don't just like sort of go that direction, but I don't know. God knows what's going on over in LA. They're soaking up the sun like Sheryl Crow. They're just chilling. They're fucking models, they're getting injured. They're taking some time off.
I don't think Sheryl Crow's been to a Lakers game in like 15 years.
She should go and sing.
You think she went when she was with Lance Armstrong? You think they did that whole courtside seats thing? Like, let's show off how coupley we are.
We should Google it. Fuck, I kind of forgot she dated Lance Armstrong. Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were together for like 4 years.
That's a time
at the height of his powers.
Yeah, at the height of his Live Strong.
Yeah, that whole thing. Crazy.
Did Lance Armstrong not turn out to be a dick? Anyways, I'll Google it after.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Just checking.
Well, he was using performance enhancing drugs. Mm-hmm. But then he was also like peer pressuring other people on his like racing team and stuff like that. I don't remember all the details, but it was like, it wasn't like, I don't know. People said that he was like running things like he was mafia or something. Interesting. I got to go back and find that. It would be a really good deep dive, especially if we're all like shut down for a while, is that Oprah interview. That Oprah interview with Lance Armstrong after the scandal broke. That's a good one. That is a good one.
I think I've only ever seen clips of that. I maybe never watched the whole thing.
There might be a YouTube video of the thing in full. Sometimes you can find an Oprah interview in full on YouTube, and it's good. It's good. This is such a crazy side. Anyway, Lauren, did you have any other takeaways from any of the Christmas Day games or teams?
No.
That's fine. My only takeaway really was that I felt the Golden State Warriors Phoenix Suns game was the only real game worth watching.
Oh, that's what I would have watched had I watched any of them.
Yeah, I think those two teams are the best teams in the league. I really hope they face off in the Western Conference Finals. I read a report, I want to say it was CBS Sports, a month ago, that said that Klay Thompson was going to be back before Christmas, and he was not. And I'm really upset about it.
I also heard that, but I think they're probably saving him for the playoffs or the Western Conference, because like they'll probably bring him in if like they need to.
But then he's got to get some regular season reps in. Like, yeah, I don't think.
But I think he'll come in like right at the end of the regular season.
Really?
And then, yeah, I think they'll probably try and like make sure he is as healthy as possible. Like, no chance of re-injury. I just think that is worse. Like, re-injuring himself is worse than just letting him practice and whatever. Like I don't know, but I also read the same thing, so I was interested to see that it didn't come to fruition as well.
Yeah, because I figured like, okay, Christmas Day is a road game. They're not going to bring him back for the first time on the road, but I thought he was going to be back by now. So I don't know. I'm on Klay Thompson watch. I'm really keeping my eye on this. I'm actually like, I am weirdly like rooting for the Warriors. Like I'm very much on that camp where I loved them. Then I hated them when they had Durant, and now I love them again. And so that is where I stand with the Warriors.
I like them, but I'm hoping for a Phoenix win again. Like,
yeah.
I just, as much as I love to see Giannis win it last year, I really was rooting for Phoenix. Like, I don't generally like the Bucks. I was like, and I just like Phoenix was like such a fun team. Like, I love Devin Booker. I love Ayton. I love Campaign. I love like they were just like such a fun fucking team. I mean, CP is whatever, like, but he's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you know, some of these old ass men on the Lakers.
Well, that's another one that has stayed in good shape. Shit. Kyle Lowry, right? And Chris Paul. Yeah. I mean, no, I'm still rooting for the Warriors at this point. Although I do agree Phoenix is a fun team. I find it so hard to root for an Eastern Conference team outside of the Raptors. Like if the Raptors aren't in it, I always pick a Western Conference team. That's just kind of what I do. I want to move on and talk a little bit about Adam Silver, because he's obviously forging ahead, and he's now with everything, regardless of number of cases. They said they will not shut down the league. They will not slow down. And they have actually shortened the quarantine period for vaccinated players after 6 days. So if they get 2 negative tests in a row after 6 days, they can come back. I believe the previous was 10 days. And then before vaccines, it was 2 weeks. So, that's where we're at. How do you feel about this, watching all of it unfold?
I mean, I think it's shitty. Like, I'm surprised the players union, well, I'm not surprised the players union hasn't done anything, but to me,
no, they've like agreed to it. The players union has agreed to it.
I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't come back against it, because I don't know. It's like I have so many issues with the like labor stuff within the NBA, and then probably all sports. I just don't know enough about other sports. It's a fucking workplace health and safety issue. Like, if I'm in the union, I'm like, no, we need to agree that there is a fucking point where we will shut the league down. If every team has only 8 fucking players, like that seems like not only is it a health and safety issue from the perspective of like, you're basically allowing a contagious disease to run rampant through the league just because of money or whatever. But also it's like, you only have 8 guys on the court. So all these guys have to come in and play like big minutes. Some of them are like older. Some of them are brand new, fresh legs. Like, aren't you opening up them to big injury when you force that kind of stuff? I think this is like a workplace safety issue beyond COVID. Am I surprised that this is the route that Silver and the NBA have gone? No, they're fucking obsessed with money, like every other sports league. They're obsessed with money. They were like, literally, you and I could have played for the fucking Knicks on Christmas Day. They were like, we need the ad revenue, girl. Like, that's like, people joke about like, oh, Drake's going to play for the Raptors, whatever. Like, they will do whatever they can to keep making money. And I just think that is something that we should all keep at the top of our minds as we engage in whatever sport it is you engage in, that like, even these fucking millionaires who seem to have a lot of power and a lot of like, you know, negotiating stances and whatever, like they have nothing next to these billionaire owners and the NBA. They have nothing. So I just think that like that's in some ways part of the reason I didn't watch the Christmas Day games, was because I was like, fuck this cash grab, fuck this blatant cash grab at the expense of these players' safety, their family safety, their children's safety, their staff safety. Like, it just, it just bums me out. I mean, generally, like that's how our government treats us, anyways. But it's kind of like, yo, like look at these millionaires get treated the way the rest of us get fucking treated. So, and like, you know, are they bought in because they also want the money and the chance and all of that stuff? Yeah, like capitalism's a hell of a drug, you know what I mean? But I just think like it's something we should all be very, very fucking aware of when we engage in these kinds of things. And yeah, remember that like not to like sound too Marxist or whatever, but we are all fucking workers, you know what I mean? So we are all should be in solidarity with each other. That's my rant.
No, I think that's really well said. And look, like I can't disagree. Like I do think that I'm not a COVID expert, everybody, but I do think like we're probably not living in a world without it at this point. Like I think we have lost this battle. Is what I'm saying. Like we aren't winning this battle at this point. I think it's all about vaccines and boosters from now on, probably. But it's tough because it's like, well, we're not shutting anything else down. But
yeah, right?
but it's just like, it's discouraging, right? And then I do think as a fan, when you think about like the viewer experience, like if I wasn't a diehard, or as like the no dunks guys say, a complete sicko, I wouldn't care about watching basketball this year. It'd be like, oh, like all these people are out, all these people are sick, like why would I even tune in? Like I think like, you know, I feel like previous to all this COVID stuff, there was all this talk about like ratings and viewership and how do we get basketball to get the same kind of numbers that football has. And it's like, there's no way a casual fan is tuning into these games.
No,
like you don't have, and you don't have any of the, you don't have, forget any of the stars. It's like, you don't have any NBA players. Like the Raptors put on 4 roster players and 4 non-NBA players on the court with no practice and no time together, because you would rather do that than cancel or postpone yet another game. Like I think like at a certain point it gets a little ridiculous. And then there's like the flip side where like, oh, okay, so the Raptors had to put things at half capacity because of new Ontario restrictions. And then like all these like ticket holders or like random ticket holders are getting screwed over now. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, and again, like I think it goes back to some of this being like a labor issue, right? Like you look at the Raps, like that team of 8 guys that played together on Boxing Day, they met an hour and a half before the game.
Yeah.
In practice, they literally never met before, these other 4 guys. So like, who are you setting up for? You're not setting anyone up for success here. You're like making it so that these guys have to get in this situation. That's like, again, I think another thing is that like it opens up these dudes to injury. Like they don't know each other. They don't know how each other, like you can maybe get some chemistry going like halfway through the game, I guess. But like, I don't know. I think it's just shitty.
Yeah, I think I picture like Nick Nurse like telling guys like, hey, like communicate out there, blah blah blah, and like they don't even know each other's names.
Yeah, right. You're like, you guy with the short hair guy yelling your number. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think it's setting up people for success, including these like guys coming in from the G League, like wanting to say like, you know, yeah, I fucking could play in regular season NBA games. Like, let me in, coach. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's setting those guys up for success either, which like really bums me out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's weird because I'm not sitting here being like, yes, they should absolutely shut down the league. But I'm also like, I don't think doing nothing and then doing even less is better either. Like, I just feel like
surely there's something,
there's some sort of middle ground, I feel, right? Like, because I think some of these games, like, you could postpone them. Right.
Right?
And then I guess they're afraid that if we postpone too many games, then it extends the whole season, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know, man. But some of it, it's like, you got to, I just feel like on top of everything you're saying, because I agree with you in terms of it being a labor issue. But I think at a certain point, you also have to think too, like what I hate talking about it like a product because they are people. But at what point are you considering the product that you're putting out?
Yeah.
Because now it's like you're not like what I tuned into was barely an NBA game.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
That's how I feel about it.
I think it's just shitty all around.
Yes. The other thing I want to bring up before we get deeper into Raptor stuff is All-Star voting has opened up. Which will obviously be complicated this year because we'll be voting for stars, and then it's like, okay, who's actually available, right? Like
who's not in health and safety?
We're gonna be voting for people to be in there, and then we'll see who's actually available, and then there's probably going to be several spots open for some fringe all-stars. Like in the past year, there's often one or two players injured, and then a player or two will get their shot. But this year, there's going to be several. So my question for you is, who as a fringe all-star would you like to see in this year's game?
Freddie, please.
Yes, Freddie.
He deserves. Let Freddie have it. Oh my God. I think he should be like a normal all-star, not like a fringe all-star. But I do think that obviously, as a Raptors fan, you are conspiratorial about the rest of the league disrespecting you and the NBA itself, not recognizing.
Well, and the East does have a lot of guards. Like, let's just be real. The East does have a lot of guards. Like, like Harden will still get votes. Trae Young's going to get votes. Zach LaVine's going to get votes. Like, DeMar DeRozan might be back as an all-star. I think that's a very realistic possibility. Jaylen Brown will get votes. The Knicks fans are crazy, so we might see Kemba Walker back after not getting any playing time, being in the mix. Kyle, obviously. Maybe, Tyler Hero's a fan favorite. I could see him getting some votes too. So yeah, there's a lot of guards in the East. I would say the East is generally pretty guard heavy. But yeah, I do think Fred. I think the Raptors fans should truly rally around Fred.
I agree.
And
guys,
I do think Fred, and I think Fred has a shot because coaches really love Fred, and they vote in the reserves. So I think if we give him enough votes, and the coaches can look at it and say, okay, come on in, Fred. Like, I think that would be great. Adds to the whole bet on yourself brand, right? We did it for Pascal. We can do it for Fred. Like, I think that would be really fun. Is there anyone else, like NBA wise, that you think would be a fun fringe all-star?
That's such a good question. I don't know. I think it's just going to be such a toss-up. Like, I think you're right. I think it's going to be like the usual suspects, but then like, who the fuck is not going to be sick? You know what I mean? Who is not going to have had like,
for all we know, Alex Caruso might end up being an all-star. You know what I mean? Like when he was with the Lakers, people were voting for him just for fun because he's white and bald. But
stop.
No, people were doing that. I'm not making that up. People were doing that. And I think Caruso is a fan favorite because he's white and bald. But, that's just the truth. But you never know.
I'm hoping
get the outsiders COVID little swing here. You never know.
I'm hoping for like the Canadians, I guess.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Shay. Yeah.
Shay, yeah.
I also think
RJ, what's his face? Long-haired white guy, Oubre. What's that guy's name? Is it Oubre? Kelly? His first name's Kelly, right?
Yeah, Olynyk.
Olynyk. Sorry, I always mix them up. I love a blonde, long-haired guy named Kelly. Like that's like a classic Saved by the Bell character.
That's true. I think I'm really rooting for Ja Morant. I don't think he's a fringe all-star.
Yeah.
I think Ja Morant should be a legit all-star. I was trying to remember if Devin Booker has been an all-star or not.
It seems crazy that he would not have been.
But I think he's always been on the outside a bit.
Okay,
I should
then
have looked
Booker
this
should.
up before I recorded, but I was trying to remember because because Phoenix has been bad for a lot of years, and then they made a marginal improvement in the bubble, and then obviously last season they were really good, but people didn't catch on to Phoenix until after.
Mhm. I'd like to see Ayton in there as well. I think he's just like a really
Yes, he would
fun
be great.
player.
He would be great. I think okay, I do not think Dylan Brooks, Mississauga zone, is an
I love him.
all-star, but I love him so much that I just think if he was there, he would fuck shit up so much. Like
100%.
he in a weird way, he's kind of the new Westbrook.
He kind of like a little bit looks like he could be Westbrook's cousin as well. Like
Yeah,
they could be vaguely related.
they seem cut from the same cloth, and I just think he would just hog that ball like nobody's business and really put on a show, even if it was all turnovers.
I agree. I actually think, yeah, I'm like all the Canadians. Just put all the Canadians in there. Let our boys in, you know?
That would be cool.
Even
That'd
old
be
Andrew
cool.
Wiggins anti-vax ass. Get him in there.
No, you do not need Andrew Wiggins there. You do not. All Canadians minus Andrew Wiggins. No. No, I don't know. I just think it'll be a really interesting all-star year, and it's going to be a little chaotic who actually ends up in the game versus who we vote for. I think my little hot take is I absolutely think Kyle Lowry is still an all-star, but I think he doesn't want to be. Like, I think Kyle Lowry would be happy to just have a week off.
He just wants to golf. He doesn't want to play the All-Star
golf.
game.
Yeah, I just think he would rather play golf at this point. He's like, I've been an all-star enough. I just
like, please let me have a week off to golf and see my family for the love of God.
Yeah, he's not golfing in Cleveland. Like the All-Star game this year is in Cleveland. He's not golfing in Cleveland.
And like, I'm assuming they'll
in February.
God knows what they'll do, if it'll be like a sort of bubble where they don't have like that big of a I don't know. America's crazy, so God knows. It's probably gonna be full attendance, 100% capacity, whatever. But yeah, Kyle Lowry is 100% like, please let me go to Myrtle Beach with my family for a week.
Yeah.
And golf.
Yeah.
Like, don't call me.
Yeah, I do think DeRozan will be back. I think he will get enough votes. Like, I think he'll be a real fan favorite in this. I don't think he'll be a fringe all-star.
Which one of the balls is playing for Chicago? I always mix them up. Lonzo or LaMelo?
Lonzo.
Okay, do you think he's gonna get?
No, but LaMelo Ball could be an all-star this year.
Okay, see, I always mix them up. I'm like, which one is doing really good? Because I was like, one
LaMelo with Charlotte is really good. That's another. You see, that's another guard. Like the East is really guard heavy.
Yeah, okay.
That's another one. I do think he has a really great chance of getting in, not as a fringe contender, but we'll see. I actually, all-star voting in certain years can be really boring and really dull because it's all the same people. But this is one of those years where I'm like, I actually think this will be interesting this year. I agree. Like who gets in and who doesn't, because there's more parity in the league, and as far as like who the favorites are, it's more wide open. And I just think like, of course, you're going to have like your LeBron and your Kevin Durant and your Steph Curry. But like, I just think all these other, like the second five, the reserve five, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. Anyway. It'll be cool to see. I mean, God knows. We'll see how this goes down.
We'll see how this goes down. With that, it's time for our Raptors Homer moment. And I often like to start the segment by just checking in and asking you how you feel as Raptors fans. I just like getting into the emotions first, and then we can talk about what's been going on.
I'm sad that our boys we have like 10 people and out, health and safety. I think Kem just has a knee injury.
Yeah,
like,
Kem has a knee injury.
Yeah, and then 8 people are in health and safety.
Yes.
It's a bummer over the holidays. Oh, my boys. I'm so sad. Especially like, I really hope like Freddie was able to spend time with his family and his kids. Like, it bums me out. Like, again, like a lot of these guys have like children and wives, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's so important to you that we play these Christmas games that all these guys get sick. and then they can't spend the holidays with their family. Like that would break my heart. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's like I feel bad about it, Cathryn. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the timing of all of this is especially heartbreaking. And I think, from a basketball perspective, it's just, and I talked a little bit about this in last week's episode, it's just been impossible for this team to get into any kind of rhythm at all, because of just like, I mean, we weren't 100% healthy to start the season. And then all of this, I feel like we've had 2 good weeks this whole year where our team was healthy and we were actually like winning games and all that. And now it's like, I mean, it's no disrespect. I don't want to disrespect the guys that did play in the game against Cleveland. But I mean, like I said, this is barely an NBA team. It isn't an NBA
there was only
team.
8 of them. Like,
and 4 of them are actually NBA players. Like, it's just, a part of me was excited to watch the game. Let me just put on my little optimistic hat here for a second, because I was like, oh, maybe we'll see someone emerge as an NBA player. Maybe we'll see the next like Chris Boucher or somebody like that, like somebody like kind of emerge in light of all of this. That did not happen against Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, I think
that did not happen, but that's one game. And there's gonna be more games. There's another game tonight, I think. And we're recording this on Tuesday. I usually like to say that off the top of the podcast in case there's like breaking news and everything we've said is irrelevant, but we were recapping Christmas. It's fine. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 28th. But yeah, I just didn't get the impression watching that game that any of the players that we've picked up would actually like stay with this team. Because that's what I always root for when I see things like this, like, oh, like who's gonna shine, who's gonna stay. And I just didn't really get that impression from anybody, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think like, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see how it'll progress, right? Like, again, though, they met like an hour and a half, like 2 hours before the game. Like, I just think like,
no, I know, but
it's not setting those guys up for success. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that my friend Blake Murphy tweeted about it. He said,
name drop.
Yeah. He said, none of these guys are a joke, but this situation is. And I was like, yeah, that's 100%
that's absolutely like, what it is. That's
these guys
very
have
well
all
said.
Grinded it out for years. It is fucking hard to get in the NBA. Like, it's hard to play college ball. It is infinitely harder to get into the NBA. So for these guys to be brought up and have a chance is like really special and really cool. And like, you think of their families being able to watch them play on TV on Christmas Day or on Boxing Day or whatever. Like, that's fucking cool. Like, maybe some of these guys have never even played on a game that was like broadcast on TV before. Like, I don't know. I think it's like such a cool opportunity, and I have a lot of respect for these young men. But the situation that they've been put in is a fucking joke, and it sucks. And they're not being supported in the right. I think like, obviously, like, I think each of the individual teams are probably doing a really good job of like supporting these guys and bringing them in and trying to make things seem normal and them feel welcome and stuff. But I just really think it's like, the situation is shitty. Like, it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, imagine just like trying to get like the last name like sewed on the jersey in time. Like, it's just
the logistics alone.
The logistics are crazy. Like, I used to work as a production coordinator, so I often think about like, oh my God, the logistics, like all the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I kept thinking about that during the entire bubble. Like, the amount of shit that has to happen for this to work. Like, oh my God. Just, yeah, it is crazy. And you're right. I mean, that's well said. And maybe I'm being a bit shitty by being like, oh, I don't know about these guys, because you're right. They do grind it out, and being an athlete well, I mean, certainly at any professional level is not easy. And for them, when you're kind of on the cusp like that, it must be especially hard. So yeah, It is great for them and many others, not just on the Raptors, but across pretty much every team in the league, getting these opportunities. It is really cool. And I did, in a weird way, really enjoy watching that Cleveland game, because I just enjoyed watching the process. Like I think for me at the very beginning of this season, and I keep saying it because Masai said it himself, that this is a rebuild year. And once I really settled into that, I've really just been able to enjoy the journey. And I think, there's a lot of Raptors fans that tune into these games and, they still have playoff hopes or play-in hopes and all that stuff. And it's like, if we get to do all that, cool, but that's not what this season is about for me. It's not really what it's about for them. I just feel like I'm really enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, learning about these new young players, seeing them have opportunities, seeing how far they can go. I think our Raptors development system has had a lot of praise, and deservedly so, but now with that comes a lot of pressure, I think, to keep developing guys at that level. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, can they continue to do that? Like, are we going to continue to have like a new Fred VanVleet or what have you, a new Pascal? Like, I think those guys are actually truly special, but even like, who's the next, like Chris Boucher, even, because that's kind of what I'm looking at this season for. So the wins and losses, I don't get so hung up about. The Cleveland game, honestly, I think I laughed several times during that game. It was a bit ridiculous. It is a bit ridiculous. It just,
I mean, Cleveland wasn't at their peak either, but at least they had our one of the sexy daddies of the NBA.
Look, Kevin Love hit a handful. Kevin Love hit a handful of threes in the second quarter and was just like, "Good night." Like, he was just,
see y'all later. He looks good though. He is aging supremely well.
He's aging well. He also just, I haven't seen that much joy on his face in several years.
He wants to retire.
Like, he looked so happy. Yeah, I mean, it's past the point of like trade Kevin Love, right? Like, there was a lot of talk like Cleveland's got to trade Kevin Love. They're in rebuilding mode. This guy's a vet. He should be on a winning team. He's won a championship, and that ship has sailed. He's just there.
Let this man retire. Retire his jersey.
Retire his jersey. You think they should retire his jersey?
In Cleveland? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they did win a championship.
He's been there forever.
And he's been there forever. That's the thing. Like, do you retire Kyrie Irving's jersey? Somebody who like wanted out and pushed their way out?
No.
But he arguably had larger contributions.
But he left.
See, you and I are the same this way.
It's called loyalty.
Yes. And you can weave in Kawhi into this conversation for all I care, because that's also how I feel.
I mean, I don't think
I'm loyal.
Yeah, it's Lowry and no one else. Like, maybe DeRozan.
Yeah, maybe.
And hopefully Fred at some point.
Oh, I would love that. No Vince for you though.
Sure, Vince. I mean, yeah, Vince. Let's do it. He still looks hot as well.
Vince is also aging really well.
He looks good.
Yeah, Vince looks very good. I was rooting for Vince Carter to be the new host of Jeopardy, but that didn't catch on.
Okay, I think that would have been good.
I don't know why that didn't catch on. Like, for all the things that nobody it's like you tweet things and it gets 10 likes and it dies forever. For all of those tweets in my life, that should have caught on. Because he would have been a great Jeopardy host.
Yeah, they were like, Aaron Rodgers, dumbass. Like, girl, you could have had Vince Carter. A not piece of shit.
Right? I mean, he's a great broadcaster. He is. He's really settled into broadcasting well, even if he misled me about Kemba Walker's triple-double, which maybe I misled myself.
Yeah, I actually, now I'm fully on board. I think Vince Carter should host Jeopardy. Okay, right?
Even as a guest host, I think what would be so great is if they did a sports tournament, right? Jeopardy sports trivia tournament, and then Vince Carter hosts it.
Oh, I think
that would be so sick.
That'd be so fun.
I should just
call us Jeopardy.
Yeah. I should just work for Jeopardy. Please send this to Jeopardy.
I don't care for what's her face.
Mayim Bialik.
Yeah, she's bad. Like,
Well,
none of them have
Ken
the
Jennings
ability.
is hosting it again now.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
I think he's better than her because he has played it, and I think he like respects when people go on like runs and is like, yeah, let's fucking go. Like, he likes the game of it.
Yes, he does.
But no one's as good as Alex Trebek at just like subtly roasting some of the contestants when they're like being dumb or have like dumb personal stories. You're like, I miss Alex. No one else had that way of being like, okay, girl, we're moving on.
I mean, this is completely off topic, but in other Jeopardy news, Amy Schneider is killing it right now. I don't know if you've seen this.
I'm obsessed with her.
Yes.
Also, she wrote this really good. I don't know if you subscribe to Defector. That's like my sports website of choice.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Defector, worker-owned media company. They're all the former what was that old site called that was owned by Gawker? It's still around. Deadspin. They're all the former Deadspin people that quit, and then they started. Everyone should subscribe to Defector. Great sports writing. They write about other stuff too, and they had Amy on. She wrote a really good article or a blog post for them called "How I Got So Smart." It's really good.
Whoa.
Yeah, love her. I stand forever.
That's cool. Well, shout not that Amy Schneider needs any more shout outs, but even Raptors Republic has shouted her out.
You have 2 fans here at Raptors Republic, girl.
Yes, absolutely. With that, it comes my dying segment of the Hot Girl Summer Nick Nurse highlight of the week, because Nick Nurse just doesn't bring the highlights like he used to, but these are COVID times. I'm not going to fully hold it against him, but it's just like, it is these are hard times. When I don't have a Nick Nurse highlight of the week, I have a quote of the week. So that's what we do. We switch it up between Nick Nurse highlight or quotes. So our quote of the week comes from Stan Van Gundy on the Staples Center no longer being known as the Staples Center. He said, quote, "This nostalgic emotion about the demise of the Staples Center is crazy. First, it is a building. Second, they aren't blowing it up. They are just changing its corporate sponsor. What exactly are people nostalgic about? An office supply store sponsorship of a building?" Stan Van Gundy, keeping it real.
I hate to agree with him on anything, but he's right. Frankly, cryptocurrency.com whatever arena is a fucking hilarious name, and we should be so lucky. Us over here at the Air Canada Center, fake, like, that's shitty. Have you ever flown Air Canada? It blows. So I think that it should be something cooler, like, I don't know, like, cryptocurrency is dumb, but at least that's fucking funny. So
I love that .com is a part of the name.
It's so funny.
Like, it can't just be the crypto arena. It's the crypto.com arena.
Like, what would be the funniest
like
brand?
For something so cutting edge to it have .com in the name is funny to me.
Like, what's the funniest like dumb Canadian brand we could rename the ACC after? You know what I mean? Like,
I love that you're still calling it the ACC. Love that.
It's Scotiabank. Sorry.
Wow.
Scotiabank is
you are
worse
really aging yourself.
Because it's a bank. Fake.
Yes, it's worse. I think the funniest name for a Canadian company would be if we called it the BlackBerry Arena.
The Rim Arena. Now that actually works. Taking it to the rim.
That works.
Finishing at the rim. Penetrating the rim. Okay.
Wow.
Someone call us.
Now we've got the word penetrating happening here. Well done. Well, Lauren, that has been our episode. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Where can people find you on the internets?
You can find me at Internet Lauren on Twitter, just tweeting dumb shit about basketball and other various things. And then you can find me sometimes on this podcast.
There you go. I love it. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at itsme_Cathryn, spelled CATHRYN. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great one, a safe one, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Look at us now. Gotta appreciate. Look at us now. Look at us now. I feel so sick. Had all the odds against my team. They came through in a clutch. Now hold my clutch. Hey, cause I'm about to stir shit out. No time for breakdowns. Only shakedowns. You could roll